gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to You Can't Make This Up. And my cup is still empty. It's always empty. I don't get it. Hey, anyways, we're going to have a jolly good time today. We've got what a week. And just so you know, if you're new to the program, we have a little bit of a lighten up day on Thursday because, quite frankly, we just need to lighten up. So we're going to start here. I have something that might interest you guys. And are you guys ready to rock and roll? Pookie, are you ready? Is everybody out there ready? Let's roll with this. First picture, got 3 pictures for you. Then we're going to start right on into it. Check out this first one. Talk about weird. Woman identifies as ecosexual and says she's in a relationship with an oak tree. Oh my, I'm like, this is whacked. But what in the world is going on? I don't know, folks. That's just a little weird. That's weird. All right, check out the next one. Let's read this. We can read it together. In the Quran, Israel is mentioned 43 times. So where is this land called Israel? Where were they? Which country? Was it Antarctica, America, Somalia, South Africa, or Mars? I genuinely want to know. If the Quran is divine and Palestine is not mentioned even once, may I know why? Did Allah and Muhammad make a mistake? Or if the Quran is not divine or incomplete, then which hadith mentioned Palestine? No kidding. And so, hey, just for the record, in case you don't know this, I know many of you already do, Palestine is an invented name, invented by Hadrian, who destroyed Jerusalem 134, 135 AD, changed the name from Judea and Samaria to Syria, Palestina, because he wanted to humiliate the Jews. That was 100 years after Jesus. And in English, it comes out as Palestine, 100 years after Jesus. So I have, for example, maps in the back of my Bible. If you have a Bible, you have maps likely in the back of yours too. And there's one map here that says Palestine in the time of Christ. The name Palestine for that territory did not exist at the time of Christ. Nevertheless, the very first people ever called Palestinians living in the land of Judea and Samaria, guess who they were? It was Jews. Jews. But the whole thing has been changed, and people believe the false narrative that is out there. Anyways, speaking of, let's move on to the next thing. Here, what else do we have? Check it out. George Carlin. The real reason we can't have the 10 Commandments in the courthouse, you cannot post, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not lie. In a building full of lawyers, judges, and politicians, it creates a hostile work environment. I think that's great. I don't know if George Carlin actually said that or not. Some of you out there, you're as old as me, you remember George Carlin from a long time ago. So I don't know if he actually said that, but nevertheless, it's funny because you know it's true. It's kind of like Babylon Bee. You know it's true, and that's part of the problem. All right, check this out. Got a short video for you. These are 2 ICE workers who get off work, and apparently some people thought they were, well, you can watch this. You'll figure it out. Watch this. This is hilarious.
That's racist. You just assume.
That is hilarious. So apparently because they were Mexican or something, they thought that, I guess they couldn't get a job. I guess they thought they wouldn't work or they couldn't work or whatever. So they actually work for ICE because they're fed up with all of the freeloaders and leftist psychos that are here in America. As they work for ICE, and you got the moron white people on the other side, they're cheering for them as if they were let out of an ICE detention facility. You're right, baby. That is racist. When you just assume, because of the color of their skin, that they were held captive by ICE, and you assume they couldn't get a job or hold a job because of the color of their skin, that's what you get from the white leftist mentality. But talk about morons. Speaking of, this is kind of cool. This may be one of my favorite videos ever, well, at least today. It's in Japan. You got to watch this. This happened in Japan. Check out this video. Japan just went full sweep. Illegal immigrants are being tracked down, rolled up, and shipped out at record speed. They're literally calling it sushi wrapping deportations. That is one of the sushi wrapping deportations. I look at that and just think, man, to me, that is absolutely hilarious. I guess it shouldn't be. Anyways, let's go here. Check out what Mamdani has proposed. He's proposed this. I don't know what's going on. Look at this. This is reported. Mamdani from Not the Bee. Not the Bee is not the satire part of the Bee. It's the real news. Mamdani touts plan to remove property owners and transfer ownership to tenants. And so it begins. NYC Mayor Zoran Mamdani unveils plan to shift property ownership from landlords to the community. If this actually happens, New Yorkers will be glad the Second Amendment exists. This article goes on. Mamdani's new housing plan in a nutshell. Via NYP, Mamdani's goal of building 200,000 new affordable homes is a moral imperative, in quotation marks, but his decisions to do so by imposing potentially crushing minimum wage mandates and restricting property sales will slow construction and preservation, argues Steve Fulop, president of Partnership for New York City. The plan also puts a heavy reliance on union-backed project labor agreements, you know, the kind that make everything cost 30 to 50% more. And how else will Mamdani improve the housing situation? Apparently, according to his own words, through our new citywide campaign, Fix the City. So they're branding it, right? Fix the City. We will focus on the worst landlords in New York. When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. So who's the one that's going to determine these are negligent owners and terrible property owners? Who's going to decide that, right? It's pretty much anybody who opposes them. They're going to make that. I mean, you know how this is going to go. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. So remember, okay, what was like the Leering Center, so you can give them government money in Minneapolis, right? How many billions now we know in all these different places here in the entire country? All this money because now they're going to go into nonprofits and we know the money's going to go into good hands. This is what Mamdani is saying. We're going to transfer ownership to stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves. The poor tenants, let's do it. Mamdani's progressive cheerleaders were predictably thrilled. One group said, it's what a progressive all of the above housing plan looks like, which is code for we're going to punish success, reward failure, and then act shocked when rents keep rising and supply stays low. This is the same brilliant economic thinking that has made San Francisco and other leftist utopias such affordable paradises. Yeah, I'm looking at this stuff, just, what? This is insane. You know, this all sounds like socialist utopia talk, which we all know ends in dystopia. But I'm still over here holding on to the hope that Mamdani's is just a gigantic fraud who will not come through on any of these promises. I mean, you look at this and you go, yeah, this is all going towards dystopia. So you got to wonder, just throwing it out there. You guys can discuss it. Feel free to discuss it in the chat. I know Pookie wants to talk about this. So just think about this. Is it just a thought, and then we're going to move on. We've got a lot more to go. Is it a possibility? The intention by these wicked Marxist leaders is to cause as much chaos and lawlessness as possible so that and steal land from people. Remember, they did that to the Jews and not to Germany. You do these things to cause people to finally push back, maybe create civil war or something like that, like they're concerned about going on over in the UK, but maybe do this kind of thing so you get enough significant pushback, and then the government has to say, wait a minute, now we have this side fighting against this side, we're all gonna die. We need to bring in digital ID so we can control everybody and make sure everybody's happy, so the poor people can be risen up and the rich people can be brought down. We need to just make sure everybody's gonna get along and Big Brother's gonna control everybody. We are here to save you. Revelation chapter 6, the writer on the black horse, what happens? Right, a black horse comes along. You can look it up yourself. Revelation chapter 6, third horse of the apocalypse. It's a day's wage for a loaf of bread. Don't harm the oil or the wine. In other words, that's what the elite people had, the oil and the wine. The elite, the ones who are in charge, the ones who are manipulating the lawlessness and the economy, they don't get harmed, but a day's wage for a loaf of bread. You see the imbalance of the scales of the black horse? It gives us the idea there's people at the top that are controlling the masses, and the masses get affected by it. And the masses of people who don't know the Lord look up and say, please save us. We need you to save us. I'm thinking that's where all of this is actually going. Check this out. Remember the mosque that was shot up? Well, who were these people that shot up the mosque? Hey, here's something we haven't heard on the news. San Diego mosque shooters identified as trans couple. Well, well, well. And by the way, they were also associated with the mosque. Isn't this just kind of weird? Why don't we hear anything about that? I just want to know. In the words of, what's her name? Just asking questions. I'm not allowed to ask questions. Yeah, when you ask it on them, suddenly you're in trouble. Whatever. So check this out. We hear all this talk about how bad Israel is, how awful Israel is, how inhumanitarian Israel is. Yet, and look at that mean border. Watch this. Look at this. This is the border between Egypt and Gaza. Look at this video. Look at that. The border between Egypt and Gaza. This is just crazy. This is huge. And what's it for? To keep Palestinians out. 7 layers of border wall. And they will shoot anyone who tries to cross. Why on earth do you and I not hear anything about the Egyptian border wall? I mean, you hear about it if you're on this program or some of my friends on their programs. You don't hear about it in mainstream news. You don't hear about it pretty much across most social media networks. You just don't hear about these things. It's just blame the Jews. Why does Israel have a border, by the way? Because everybody's always trying to kill them. Egypt doesn't want the Palestinians there. They don't want anything to do with Gaza. Jordan doesn't want them in their land either. They don't want anything to do with them. Everybody says you should take the Palestinians home. Nobody wants them except the leftists that are here in America and the leftists that are over in Europe. Nobody else, and it's just because the rest of the Arab world knows that these people are trouble. That's what they know. They don't need more trouble. Israel knows what's really going on with the borders. They know that they were suicide bombed, homicide bombed, rockets launched at them. They built up the wall. Listen, you probably have seen a video or picture of the wall that is around Bethlehem. You look at the wall, and then all of a sudden you hear a narrative, oh, how awful Israel's keeping these people from having freedom. They're locking them in. That's what those people on social media have said. You know, the anti-Israel ones are super, super famous and popular. Everybody believes. No. Why don't you go over there and look for yourself? You suddenly find out, Arabs can pretty much go anywhere, Muslims go anywhere in the nation of Israel that they want to, as long as they aren't terrorists blowing up people. The wall is meant to keep the terrorists out. It's not rocket science. And anybody who says otherwise, that's actually been there and studied it and knows the facts, if they say otherwise, they're a liar. That's what they are. So you have a wall around Bethlehem. Of course you do. Listen, there's places in Shechem I was able to drive there, but I'm not going down into there because they'll kill me. Why? Because I'm not Muslim. I'm not even Jew. I'm just an infidel. Yet, and there's places Jews cannot go in Israel. They can't go to Bethlehem. There's places Jews cannot go in Israel, but Arabs can go anywhere they want. And the walls are built there to keep the terrorist attacks out. Arabs can go into the Jewish quarter in Jerusalem. A Jew going into the Arab quarter, listen, it happens, but man, it's a risk. When I go down there with my Jewish friends into the Arab quarter, they're looking around over their shoulder the whole time. When was the last time you saw the Jews attacking the Arabs or the Christians? When was the last time you saw the Jews burning down the churches? Guess who burns down churches? Yeah, it's not rocket science. So you look at that border. All right, speaking of how New York City is run, so you got this mayor who says, hey, we're going to take from, we're going to do the Robin Hood thing. We're going to take the property away from people that we don't like, and we're going to give it to other people, even the nonprofits that we can funnel government money into. I mean, you can see where all of this is going. Check out what Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the president of Amazon, has to say about New York City. And you want to know something? He's right. Look at this.
If we ran Amazon the way New York City runs their school system, right, your packages would take 6 weeks to arrive. We'd have to charge you a $100 delivery fee. And then when the package did finally arrive, it'd have the wrong item in it anyway. Right.
Yeah, it would, darn right it would have the wrong item in it anyway. Excuse me a second. By the way, we'll be in Boise, Idaho coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And check out who's going to be joining us in Boise. You guys can pull this up. I think we have a picture of it. Look at that. I'll be there. Pastor Tim Thompson will be there. That's his church plant, 412 Church, Boise, Idaho. Brandon Holdhouse will be there. Billy Crone will be there. First time ever, Ricky Scapero from End Time Headlines is going to be joining us. Pete Garcia is going to be there. And check it out. Latest edition is Brigitte Gabriel. She's going to be speaking Saturday morning right after me. And listen, here's something else, because we just had our Hope for Our Times conference in Calvary Chapel, Ellensburg, Washington. It was fantastic. And we have 2 more conferences. One in Santa Barbara coming up in August, at the end of August, and another one in Texas coming up, Rockwall, Texas, mid-September. And Brandon House is going to be joining us. It's just an amazing lineup of different speakers that are going to be there. It's different speakers at all of them. And what we wanted to do was, instead of make it where you got to get this live stream, and then that live stream, and then that live stream, and then that live stream, and it gets expensive, it gets difficult. It's hard on us. It's hard on you guys. So we just said, well, is there a way we can just do it where it's like a bundle? People can get all 4 of the conferences. It's just a bundle, and the link doesn't go away. So that's the other thing. It's a permanent link, because sometimes you get these live streams, you get it for 30 days, and it's over and done. But different speakers at all of them, different messages all, because one thing that drives me nuts is you go to conference, it's this message. You go to the next conference, it's same message, same message. You just get tired of it. So it's all different speakers, all different messages at all the conferences, different personalities. Lance Ralston, first time ever with Hope for Our Time, spoke in Calvary Chapel, Ellensburg this past weekend. Let me tell you, it was one of the best messages. I'd say it was the best message I ever heard on putting together technology, transhumanism, the last days, and even bringing in the Holocaust and Nazis into it. I've never heard a message done that well before, and it was Lance Ralston's first time. He was Calvary Chapel pastor up in Oxnard. Now he's doing this with David Guzik. And so it was just great. Also, Dave Zamora was there. David Tao was there. It was just really an absolutely amazing time, plus some others. And then, so the only speakers repeating will be Brandon Holdhouse speaking twice here this weekend, and then in Santa Barbara once. We also have some other additions coming to Santa Barbara. And then David Tao was last week in Ellensburg, Washington, and coming up in Santa Barbara too. James Cadiz will be joining us. But all of these, listen, it's just, you can get the bundle, do the streaming, and they're all different messages. And I wanted to bring out the best of the best. And it's just really cool. So anyways, if you can't be there in person, join us via streaming. You're going to be blessed. All right, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I can't remember what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, here we are. So watch, this is just nuts to me. This is putting, these people are so offended that God would be put above, I think, a Declaration of Independence, something like that. Watch this video.
What about this passage from Mike Johnson declaring that our rights do not derive from government, they come from you, our Creator and Heavenly Father? Is this him putting God over the Declaration of Independence?
That's nuts. Is he putting God over the Declaration of Independence? Yes. So this is how messed up we are. Dude. Or dudette. This is messed up. Yes, God is over the Declaration of Independence. I mean, are we that far fallen in the Western world that that people actually think like this? Yes, we are that far fallen. We're in trouble, deep trouble. I mean, the lady starting out, she has an ecosexual relationship with an oak tree. And then well, no wonder why you get that kind of stuff when you have people like this that are supposedly the experts. I mean, like, what are these people? Carrie Brejean, expert on God and theology? I mean, seriously? The sex tape goddess? You look at this stuff, you go, this is nuts. Anyways, let's move on from here. Let's look at this next video. We got to go. We got some more to roll through. Let's roll. Next video.
If you did nothing wrong, this should not be offensive to your heart
What's
at all.
offensive to my heart is that you are trying to say what other people should or should not be able to do, and it's not your right.
You're literally violating the principle that you just stated. You said that you shouldn't tell people what they should or should not do, and now you are literally telling us that we should not tell people what they should or should not do. You're literally violating the principle that you just stated.
Not accurate. That's not.
So you're telling us we can do this then?
That's great. You're telling us what we should and should not do and telling us that we're not allowed to tell anybody what they should and should not do. I think that's just great. But when you start just taking apart simple little arguments, you just use people's own logic against. Of course, people like that will never admit anything. Anyways, let's watch this. This is on the Quran. Check out this video. This is so well done. Check it out.
Romans was written by Paul, not Jesus.
Okay, and the Quran was written by Muhammad, not Jesus. And you still believe what Muhammad says about Jesus?
Yes,
Yes. Oh, wait, say it again. So yes, I believe what Muhammad, who came 600 years later, tells me about Jesus in Arabic, a language Jesus didn't speak. But Paul, who met the eyewitnesses of Jesus, I don't trust him. You see how stupid you sound, James?
But there are things in the Bible that you can't fully trust, like.
Oh, you mean like your prophet telling you can marry who has in puberty, that you can trust. Your prophet marrying his adopted son's divorced wife, that you can trust. Your prophet abolishing adoption, that you can trust. Your prophet saying take married captive women and rape them, that you can trust, but we can't trust Paul. You make sense, man. I'm ready to go to the mosque, take shahada.
I mean, that is great. Listen, he just does a great job. I love watching his videos. But you look at this and just look at the absurdity of people. If you start looking at what their argument is and makes no sense, it's like people who say those aren't really Jews that are in Israel. And then if you're a Jew here in Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, or something like that, people say, go home to your Jews in Israel. I thought you just said those weren't Jews in Israel. Well, apparently they are, and then if they're, check this out, right? Remember, it was a boat that had left Israel, an Israeli cruise line. There were Jews on it. They go to Greece. They were not allowed to get off the boat. Why? Because they were Jews. Well, that's weird. I thought you said they weren't Jews in Israel, but when they got on the boat, Ashkenazi Jews got on the boat. Suddenly they're Jews when they get over to Greece. I mean, if you look at the simple logic, you go, you guys don't make any sense. Exactly, but that's how the devil is. The devil never makes any sense. By the way, we need a little bit of humor right here. Are you guys okay if we lighten up this? Because we're getting close to that, and then we're going to have a tip of the week for you. So let's do this. This is just a little bit of humor. This is comedy shopping list in the UK. Friends, this is strictly just to give a little bit of humor as we get through the end, because we need it. Because this ain't going on in the UK right now, right? So watch this. It's kind of funny.
Excuse me, how much is that doggy in the window?
Which one?
The one with the waggly tail.
Sorry?
How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that dog is for sale.
There's no doggy in the window.
Can I have half a pound of tuppenny rice and half a pound of treacle?
Are you okay?
4 and 20 blackbirds, I'm baking a pie.
Hey, this isn't a pet shop, you know.
Any barbars?
What?
Black sheep.
Are you ill?
Have you any wool?
We have no animal products whatsoever.
It's for a little boy who lives down the lane.
Yeah? I don't think people like you should visit little boys in lanes, do you?
Do you know what? I think I may have picked up the wrong list.
Half a packet of barbecue fuel, half an ounce of baccy, pint of milk and Marlboro Lights, Mars bar and Rizzlers.
Anyways, just a little bit of humor. We need, don't we need some humor? ladies and gentlemen, we do need humor. And wow, what a world we live in. Oh, yeah. Okay, you ready? Are you ready for the tip of the week? Ladies and gentlemen, oh, by the way, don't forget to watch The Truth. Be on at 5 o'clock Pacific time today. And in person with me is going to be Craig Clark. All right, with that, you ready? Tip of the week. Drum roll. Let's see what it says. Tip of the week. If your life feels meaningless, just remember someone out there is confidently using your old advice. That's pretty funny. Come on, that is. Oh, I like it. I shouldn't be laughing at that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's just worth getting a little bit of a laugh. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our time here today at You Can't Make This Up. Looking forward to seeing you in a city near you. Check it out. Go to hopeforOurTimes.com events page. You can look at all the different places that we are going to be. We'd love to see you at any of them, or join us for streaming again. Get all 4 of the conferences, just a bundle package. It's great with all the different speakers, all the messages. And also, please pray for us, because we're going to be in Mexico at the end, about 4 weeks out. We have our annual conference coming up in Mexico. It's going to be absolutely terrific. Again, it's always great down there. Pastor training, conference all weekend. God bless you guys. And looking forward to seeing you Sunday morning.